So why is it as the South got significantly less racist, it got more Republican?
Because Republicans are about control just in another way.
How?
They're about controlling and putting Christian values on everyone. Sodomy in Texas was illegal until 2003 until the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional.
Well, first of all, Texas was a majority Democrat state up until about 1992.
Yeah,
that,
it was
so
Republican. Obviously, yeah.
So that sodomy law was passed by a Democrat legislature and a Democrat
it's been on the
governor.
books for a while.
Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the top Democrat ever from
yeah.
Texas, was a Democrat.
Yeah.
Kay Bailey Hutchinson was a
I'm
Democrat.
aware
Right.
of
So
the
Texas
history of
was a
Democrat
routinely
government,
Democrat state.
I'm aware.
And
I'm
as
aware.
Texas got less racist, it got more
now,
Republican.
But who would support an anti-sodomy law today? Republicans or Democrats?
Neither.
Obviously. Really?
Yeah. Donald Trump's not exactly what I'd call a Christian, my friend.
Okay. yeah.
Yeah, so that's a horrible
we
argument.
got that part,
That's a horrible argument for saying that somehow the Republican Party is the party of religion.
They're always the party of control. They want to control people.
So if they want to control people by getting more money back to the middle class, or control people by deregulating the economy.
Middle class, you mean the wealthy?
Well, the tax cut was the largest middle class tax cut in American history. The average American family got a $2,800 tax rebate under the Trump tax cut.
And the wealthy, the corporation's tax rate dropped half. I mean, how can you have?
Well, it went from 35% to 20%, which is a great thing because the corporations are spending money on capital infrastructure, creating wealth, and putting the money
then
back.
Why do the tax cuts for average day people phase out over, I think, like 7 years?
Well, so I'm glad you asked that. So they put that up for a vote, and the Democrats voted that down. Republicans wanted to make the tax cuts permanent for the middle class. I'm glad you asked that, though. You could look up the voting record
So
yourself.
the problem isn't necessarily Republicans or Democrats.
No, it
it's
is.
the wealthy having more control.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of it. The wealthy being the ruling class that bought leaders in both political parties, but the Republican Party is becoming more the party of the grassroots under Trump, one that is responsive to the needs and wants of a deteriorating American middle class.
Tax cuts to corporations who already make
well,
really
first of all,
well.
corporations employ people, so remember that corporations.
But the people don't necessarily benefit from the tax
secondly,
cuts.
did you know that in the Trump tax cut, there is a single mother tax rebate. There is a childhood tax credit,
Yes,
the
but
largest
these
in American
things
history.
phase out. They don't change the systematic way where corporations make money
they
and
tried to
underpay their
make
workers.
them permanent, but Democrats opposed it. But what would get besides
I'm
that?
not worried about who opposed it.
Well, you should be, because it's Trump and the Republicans that gave America the largest middle class tax cut in American history, and it's
That is
Democrats that bitterly
temporary, and that
opposed
will
it.
we won't be able
want to
it
make it permanent, and the Democrats are opposing it. But the average middle class American family had a $2,800 tax cut under the Trump tax cut. You're seeing the stock market have 128 record highs, 4.2% GDP growth, 3% unemployment rate, lowest ever youth unemployment rate in 80 years, lowest ever black unemployment rate, lowest ever Asian American unemployment
What are
rate.
you going to do with the trillions that it's going to add to the debt? I mean, you just cut spending without cutting.
So we should cut spending. I would say that the
Yeah.
biggest misstep of this administration is the amount of deficit spending. You and I will agree with that. And Republicans should be fiscally restrained
So basically,
on all
the
sense.
biggest major threat
But we
to
have
government's
growth.
continuity, overwhelming debt that will make us not be able to
I
pay our
agree
debt
with
in the future. That's just that you agree, Trump, but he's going to be the greatest president, though. Even though we're probably going to have to default on our debt
Well, yeah, he'll be the greatest
for the first
president.
time in U.S.
Do you
history.
Okay, we're not going to default on our debt. First of all,
Social Security spending and Medicaid
so
spending?
I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
What president doubled our national debt? Is Barack Obama.